If you play Animalia, what would you say it's the hardest animal to play? The lion, the leopard, or even the wildebeest? What if I told you that there is a more difficult animal to play than those three? The Nile Crocodile. You see, although we have the powerful bite, there is two major factors that make the gameplay pretty difficult. We have the fact that people can see you through the water with night vision, and we also have maps that are not quite suitable for crocodiles, making it very challengeable to ambush prey or to even catch one. But as you know, I am a crocodile fan, and Animalia updated the model, so this is the last video on Animalia. So this is how we survive as a Nile crocodile. We start our journey by patrolling the river, and for us, we were lucky to find a few leopards playing on top of a rock. Where there's animals, there is always a meal, and for us I decide to stay nearby in hopes of surprising a passing animal. As I view this in Animalia, you have to be very crafty when you play the crocodile, because a lot of the spots are already known for crocodiles to stay, but there's a few underrated places that you can actually ambush people. But I won't lie, sometimes it really takes a lot of time and patience. So you have to always keep that in mind. After a few minutes of waiting, the leopards decide to cross the river and play on the other side. It was not a bad idea because I knew that they had to jump over the river because that's basically what most animals in Animalia do, and they might end up falling into the water. That's when we make our move. I tried my very best to catch the last leopard, but we were too late. But we got lucky because we passed unnoticed. And because this river is usually uninhabited by crocodiles, we were going to use this to our advantage. Once the leopard approached, we striked. We finally had our first catch of the day, but because Animalia is Animalia, the body fell through the ground and we lost our meal. It wasn't a big problem because we still had food left in our stomach, so I decided to stay nearby in hopes of catching another leopard. But things were about to take a small, unexpected turn. A fight broke out between the leopard group and a lion pride, which unfortunately ended up with one of the leopards dead. For the leopards, that was not a great day, but for me, it was a golden opportunity. I decided to get close by in hopes of catching either a lion or a leopard, but for some reason, this solo leopard decided to challenge a whole pride, ending up dead. It was indeed a tragic day for that leopard group, but for me, I was still having my hopes up in catching me a big prize. So I decided to make sure that I was well positioned and ready for an ambush. I just want to state that my crocodile right now was not even full elder and I only had 100 of armor, so that's why you can see some damage coming through. But To avoid that same bug with the leopard, I decided to go all the way down to find a place that I could drop the body and eat peacefully. But sadly, by the time that I found a place that was able to climb, the body eventually despawned, leaving us once again empty-handed. But fear not, because I always have a trick up my sleeve, and soon we were going to find ourselves a great meal. We just have to be patient and hope that the body doesn't disappear. Like I stated before, the life of a crocodile, or maybe of any animal in Animalia, can be sometimes boring. I stood for a few minutes in my favorite spot, and I do recommend you guys, if you play crocodiles, to try out, because you will catch a lot of unexpected people on this small river. I then moved a little bit to the west, where I found this other crocodile waiting for something. I'll be honest, I really wanted to attack and see if I could kill this crocodile, but then I remembered that I only had 100 of armor, so I just decided to stay with him and play with him a little bit. After that, it was time for us to migrate to the northeast and see if you could find something. We found a group of lions, and to my surprise, they decided to do the leap of faith. In the real life, we have the Great Migration. Here, we have the Great Leap of Faith, which if you land in the water, you might die. There were just too many options, so I decided to take my time, and there was one lion that was bugged, so I decided to go with him. Sometimes it amazes me how food can sometimes cross your path, but sadly, this lion was bugged. Lucky for us, there was a nearby spawn carcass that I decided to eat a little bit. I then proceed to see the fight of a crocodile versus a pride, which eventually he ran out into the water, and I thought, why not follow him and kill him? Because if this is your first time watching my Animalia videos, usually there's a lot of croc on croc violence. So the rule of thumb is to never trust another crocodile player. I will also be honest, something that I didn't say in the beginning about crocodiles being very hard to play is that finding birth as a crocodile is really rare, making almost 90% spawned in animals. But coming back to this crocodile that we had the intent to kill, he was able to get himself a kill, but he didn't really knew how to grab the body, showing me that he was probably a new player. So I decided to give him a helping hand. I dragged the body out of the water so he was able to eat, and then let him in peace. I do think that the body eventually was bugged because he either didn't know how to eat or didn't really want it to eat, so I decided to just leave to these 3 leopards, which I was okay, so I decided to just be on my way. And because unexpected things happened in Animalia, we have a pursuit between a wild dog and a leopard that I could eventually end one of their lives, but I just decided to give them a little bit of a scare. And so we made our way to spot number 3 to try and catch ourselves a meal. When you always play as a crocodile, you have to keep in mind that they can see you at all times. So like I said, you have to be very crafty with your ambushes. But if you ever come across players who don't use this exploit, you might see how fun it is. We were having luck on our hunts, and I wanted to try one final place before heading to the oasis, because usually here there's a lot of traffic, but at the same time people are always aware of crocodiles. Just so you guys see how much time it takes, I decided to do a little time lapse to show you that sometimes it takes a little while to catch a prey. But sometimes patience comes with its reward. So after a good rest and a good meal, it was time for us to head into the oasis, just to find out that the lake was almost dry. It is not really impossible to catch people off guard on this lake, but it is really challenging because once you're a full-grown adult, you can't really fit into shallow water. So you have to be very crafty and also very careful of other crocodiles. We could fight them to dominate this place, but sometimes scars in Animalia are really deceiving. You might take 1% damage and get scars, and you might think that the animal is almost about to die, but in reality it's almost full HP. So you have to be very careful who you fight. I choose this small place because it's one of my favorite spots to be, but like I said, it is very tricky and challenging because people will see you with ease. But I'm someone who enjoys unexpected places. So now it was time for us to wait and set our trap. And pretty honest, sometimes my trick is just to stay very still in hopes of them not noticing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Because the water was a little bit too shallow and people were using night vision to see if the water had any crocodiles, I decided to use my trump card, which was hunting on land and dragging them into the water. If this is done correctly, then you might be surprised how many people you might catch. Because after all, no one is suspecting a crocodile to be lurking in the bushes or in the rocks. So like a snake waiting for its prey, we are ready to strike. A lot of minutes were passing by and we were having no luck, almost losing hope. But then the unexpected happened. We were able to surprise this adult lioness, and because there was still a little bit of water left, we were able to use our powerful death roll, showing that sometimes being crafty can help. I tried to use the same tactic again, but this time we weren't very successful because people were not going to the exact place that I intended to ambush them. Maybe we were not in a great position, or maybe we were not even well camouflaged, but the big problem was that the lake was getting dry by the minute, making it really impossible to use our death roll or even to do anything. So eventually it was time for us to just get out of the oasis before we get ourselves killed. Because there was not really much we could do, I decided to call it a day and go to my favorite spot, which is the big river. Maybe in the near future, I might do Road to Elder Crocodile Edition. I do hope you guys enjoyed this crocodile video and also the crocodile model. If you notice that the graphics are a little bit different, it's because they did an update where they changed a few things, and I do think it looks better than before. But some people might have a lot of trouble with some motion blur or even graphic settings. So make sure to hit that like, that subscribe. If you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, I do mostly animal survival videos and a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Get it here, and I'll catch you guys in a next video. Take care and peace.